Happy Halloween! I know there have already been a couple of reviews out today, but I actually made those reviews yesterday and thought they would be out in time. Anyway, on with the final batch of reviews. In 1997, Scream created a massive boom of self-aware slasher movies. They all had similar style and pace and lacked a lot of originality. In fact, a lot of the time they just became exactly what Scream was mocking to begin with. In my opinion, the absolute best of these movies, apart from the Scream movies, is Halloween H20 20 years later. Halloween H20 completely ignores the events of 4, 5 and 6. In this film, Michael Myers' body was never actually recovered from the fire and Dr. Loomis actually survived the explosion. Dr. Loomis isn't in the movie because of course Donald Pleasance was dead at the time of making it. However, since the film is a direct sequel to the first two movies, Laurie Strode returns once again, played by Jamie Lee Curtis. Laurie Strode is now the head mistress of a prestigious boarding school that her son John attends. Laurie is still suffering from nightmares of Michael Myers. As Laurie Strode, she faked her death and took on a new name. On Halloween, most of the students at the school are going on a trip to Yosemite, meaning that she'll pretty much be one of the only people at the school. There are 4 students that aren't going to go and 1 other teacher who aren't going to go in the entire school. One of whom is John, since Laurie doesn't want him to go. She does finally let him go after a change of heart, but he ends up staying anyway to be with his girlfriend. In the evening, a strange car pulls up to the school. The security guard goes to investigate and of course, Michael Myers breaks into the school. Then he starts to kill off the teenagers. After Laurie realizes that there's a possibility of Michael coming after her and John, she goes out to stop him. An hour of the film is dedicated to everyone trying to get away from Michael and then Laurie trying to kill him. Although I wish there was a little bit more character development, it's still a lot of fun. The film is incredibly fast paced and exciting. The style and feel of the movie is very similar to Scream in every shape and form. Since I'm a big fan of Scream anyway, I really like this aspect of the movie. The acting is fantastic and is probably one of the absolute best things about the movie. Everyone gives believable performances, especially Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis is phenomenal in the movie. She gives probably the absolute best performance in the whole series. The film takes a lot of inspiration from a wide variety of sources, including of course Halloween and even Psycho. In fact, Janet Leigh, who actually happens to be Jamie Lee Curtis's mother, makes an appearance in the movie. I love the way the movie actually purposely draws a lot of parallels with the original movie. There are a lot of lines that are copied on purpose. It really suits the plot of the film, which is essentially that Laurie Strode has to go through what she did before, to face her fears to really become normal again. I think that it has a great plot. John Carpenter was originally going to return to direct for the first time since the first movie. He asked for a salary of $10 million due to the large amount of revenue from the first film that he had not received. Mustafa Akkad, the producer of all of the original series, basically said no, and so John Carpenter walked away. It's a shame that he never returned. I would have liked to have seen another John Carpenter sequel, and it would have made sense to be this one because it basically was originally going to be the finale for the series. At the end of the movie, we see Laurie Strode decapitate Michael, killing him for good. I've always felt that it would have been perfect if the series just ended there. They wrapped it up perfectly. But of course, the film made a lot of money, so Michael was brought back in probably the worst possible way. But we'll talk about that later. Halloween H20 is my favourite sequel in the series. I love nearly everything about it. My only problem with the film is that it's way too short and there should have been a bit more character development for the side characters. But apart from that, it's a great movie. Since I never have to review these movies again, every Halloween I'm most likely only going to watch the first 2 in this film because they basically make a good unofficial trilogy. If you like the first 2 movies but haven't seen any other sequel, I'd say skip them and watch this one. Although maybe watch them afterwards. I give Halloween H20 20 years later a 9.5 out of 10.